Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to Andersen Sports Live. I'm Vincent Pena, and this is Evan Troxel. We have a packed show for you today, and we'll try to cover all that happened in the world of sports over the last 7 days. To start, let's head to the biggest game in the NBA this weekend. OKC versus Golden State, top 2 to top 3 teams in the West facing off. We'll head straight to the fourth quarter. Late, here's Kevin Durant, who kicks it out to Serge Ibaka, back to Durant, who drains a 3 to put OKC up by 4 with under 15 left. But after a Klay Thompson layup, Kevin Durant gets trapped in the corner and tries a desperation heave, only to be picked off by Klay Thompson. Draymond Green runs down the loose ball, gives it back to Thompson, who finds Andre Iguodala, who goes up and gets fouled by Kevin Durant at the buzzer. Andre Iguodala would nail both threes, and Kevin Durant would miss the buzzer shot to go to overtime. In overtime, OKC got off to a fast start with Russell Westbrook driving into the hole and getting the and one. He'd make that. Later on, Steph Curry goes, he drives to the hole, and he gets fouled. And that's Kevin Durant's 6th foul. He fouls out of the game in overtime. Here comes Steph Curry again. In Kyle Singler's face, he drains a 3, and that's his record-setting 3 for the season. It's 287th. And Russell Westbrook tries to win it and misses. But here comes Steph Curry again with the ball from 32 feet, chucks it up and drains it. And OKC goes on to win 121-118. Steph Curry can't believe it. No one can believe it. But here comes the last shot for OKC. Russell Westbrook misses, and that's the game. Now, Steph Curry has been absolutely on fire from behind the arc. And not just behind the arc, from 28 to 52 feet. He is 73%. That goes along with his 288 threes on the year, which is a record, beating his own from last year. And this is also his NBA record 28th game with at least 5 3-pointers, after having 27 all last season.
In other NBA action, Cleveland Cavaliers at the Washington Wizards yesterday. Let's go to the highlights. LeBron James not able to play in this game. Early first quarter, Kyrie Irving, and he's going to dribble, right-handed layup. Cavaliers up 9-5. Cavaliers up 13-6. John Wall with the left-handed layup as the Wizards cut the deficit to 5. Early third quarter, Otto Porter gets the ball, 3-point shot. It's good! Wizards up 72-54 at that point. And then Wizards pass the ball around a little bit before the 5 guys touch the ball here until it gets to Marquise Morris with the dunk. Boom! Wizards up by 19 at that point. The Wizards defeat the Cavaliers 113-99. Wizards host the 76ers while the Cavaliers host the Pacers. For more on Steph Curry, let's toss it to our roundtable experts.
Thanks, guys, and welcome to the Roundtable, where experts discuss the hottest topics in sports. I'm your host, Karina Hernandez, and I'm joined here with Pierce Gorlett and Matt Reynoldson. Okay, so Evan and Vincent mentioned the Golden State Warriors earlier, and what Steph Curry did this last weekend was really unbelievable. Pierce, we'll start with you. Is this bad for basketball?
No, I think it's great for basketball. Not only for jersey sales for the NBA, but I think for a little guy like me, a 5'11" little guy, I think it inspires me to go, and it has. It's inspired me to work on my fundamentals of basketball and my three-point shooting. And just to say, my three-point shooting has gone up since Steph Curry's rise. So, no, I think that Curry has helped the younger generation form their fundamentals when it comes to three-point shooting, more than laying up and dunking. So, no, I think Curry has helped the game of basketball.
You know, I got to disagree there. I think when you're looking at these younger players, the high schoolers, the middle schoolers that are really working on their game, working to become great players, you got to look at the fact that they are working on their three-point shooting now instead of well-rounded things like defense and rebounding and trying to become a better all-around player, because Steph Curry is not big on defense and rebounding all the time. And I think it's hurting the younger generation. I think it's hurting the greats, the former greats like Oscar Robertson and Wilt Chamberlain, who played without a three-point line. I think this is kind of a slap in the face to them to consider already Stephen Curry one of the all-time greats. What he's doing as a shooter is transcendent, but I don't think that he can be considered one of the all-time greats and a role model for these younger players because he's not an all-around type player.
Wow, I have to disagree with you on that one.
Okay, well, we'll be back to talk more NBA, college basketball, and NFL Combine. But for now, we'll send it back to you, Evan.
All right, thanks, guys. North Carolina at Virginia. Let's go to the highlights. Second half, Virginia up by 3. North Carolina with a three-point shot, missed, And the rebound by number 11, Bryce Johnson, bucket good. Nearly 11 minutes left in the second half. And Malcolm Brogdon for Virginia, three-point shot from the corner. It's good. Virginia up by 8, 57-49. Final minute of the game. Virginia 72, North Carolina 66. And Anthony Gill, left-handed layup off the glass. Take another look. And that's just beautiful. Virginia 79, North Carolina 74. Virginia's record 22-6, while North Carolina is now 23-6.
And Oklahoma trying to keep its title hopes alive as it takes on Texas in the Red River rivalry. Isaiah Cousins alley-oop to Buddy Hield here in the first. Oh, let's move it late into the second. And Buddy Hield drains a three-pointer. And here comes Buddy Hield again, driving. He doesn't miss. He misses it. He gets his own rebound and puts it in, and the foul for the and one. Buddy Hield was a man possessed, although it might not be enough for Oklahoma. And here comes Isaiah Taylor, drives in, takes a shot and misses. And here's Lammert, who drains a three. From this point on, after Oklahoma led 58-54, Texas would run off 22 straight points to close out the game. Oklahoma simply had no answer for Texas. And here's later on in the half, as Texas is piling on, 71-58. Isaiah Taylor with the slam dunk. And Oklahoma loses on the road at Texas in the Red River rivalry.
Maryland Terrapins at the Purdue Boilermakers on Saturday. Let's go to the highlights. Melo Trimble, three-point shot. Good. Purdue 76, Maryland 74. Jake Layman with the layup, game tied at 76. Purdue up by 1. Johnny Hill is going to go and get the layup here. Purdue up by 3 at that point. And then Purdue with a three-point shot. They miss. But the rebound goes to Purdue, and Purdue survives 83, Maryland 79. And
we have never seen a college basketball season quite as crazy as this one, with a record 73 upsets of top 10 teams in any season since the advent of the Associated Press ranking. Here's a graphic of last week's college basketball upsets, including Ohio State taking down number 8 Iowa, top 5th-ranked Xavier losing to Seton Hall, Duke falling on the road to Pittsburgh, Notre Dame getting outlasted by Florida State, and Kentucky falling to Vanderbilt for their second loss to the Vandy this year.
Kansas is back on top of the Associated Press's men's college basketball poll. Villanova had been number 1 the past 3 weeks. The Jayhawks are 25-4 and were number 1 for 2 weeks in January. On Monday, they were a runaway choice, receiving 63 first-place votes from the 65-member national media panel. Villanova lost to Xavier last week and fell 2 spots to 3rd. The Wildcats were followed in the top 10 by Virginia, Xavier, Oklahoma, Miami, North Carolina, Oregon, and West Virginia. This is Oregon's first appearance in the top 10 this season. We'll be right back on Andersen Sports Live after this.
90.3 KRNU is the University of Nebraska's own radio station located in the School of Journalism and Mass Communications. Since 1970, KRNU has been providing Lincoln with new indie music, local artist promotions, and the long support of local businesses. This year, KRNU is celebrating its 45th anniversary and plans to be around for at least another 45. Tune your FM dial to 90.3 anytime, or hear us live online streaming at krnu.unl.edu.
I always knew I was going to study fashion design in college, and I kind of got addicted to the energy.
Just to be able to see all the hard work the students have put into it and how talented they are.
The most innovative designers are students, and I get really excited knowing that kids are still into it. There's just no other industry like it.
I'm Prince Mukamara, and I'm urging you to go to collegeboundnebraska.com to see if you qualify.
Soccer's international governing body announced Friday that it will have a new president for the first time in 18 years, as Gianni Infantino replaces the embattled incumbent Sepp Blatter as president of FIFA. Infantino won the election in Zurich on the second ballot, defeating Sheikh Salman bin Ibrahim Al Khalifa with 115 of the 207 total votes. The 45-year-old Infantino joined as a UEFA General Secretary in 2000.
FIFA's worldwide corruption scandal has now reached the U.S. as U.S. officials have slapped Citigroup with a subpoena in order to investigate alleged bribery, corruption, and money laundering by the international governing body of soccer. Banks are required to follow anti-money laundering laws to alert authorities about transactions like the ones FIFA is being investigated for. Authorities have said that FIFA officials used several U.S. banks, including Citi, JP Morgan Chase, and Bank of America, to transfer and receive $150 million in bribes and kickbacks.
And we head out to the Honda Classic for the PGA Tour, where Adam Scott headed into the third round, tied with the lead with Sergio Garcia, and he hits this on the on the 10. And here's Sergio Garcia on the misses the short putt on the par 4, 11th hole. And here's from the bunker is Adam Scott on the 12th hole, par 4, 151 yards out, and he lands it right on the green. What a beautiful shot. And here's Sergio Garcia. He makes a birdie putt to go 9 under within a stroke of the lead. Oh, excuse me. Here's he makes the birdie putt and is now within a stroke of the lead. And then Adam Scott taps the birdie in here to win the Honda Classic. Oh, and we also head out to the Quick Trip 500 from NASCAR this weekend, where it was quite a, here's Kyle Busch, who won the pole but got disqualified after failing an inspection. And here we are, 41 laps to go. There's a crash. Smokes everywhere. People are going crazy. But here comes, he lost all 4 tires on that one. But here comes Jimmy Johnson on the final lap, or into the final lap. He leads, and he would hold that position as another crash on the final lap would take out a bunch of drivers there, but Jimmy Johnson would hold on for the win. It is he ties Dale Earnhardt for 7th all-time on wins in NASCAR history.
The Washington Capitals visited the Chicago Blackhawks on Sunday. Let's go to the highlights. Washington on the power play in the first. Nick Backstrom, he sends it to streaking Marcus Johansson for the goal. Chicago evens score a little bit later. Patrick Kane, goal, tied up at 1. Blackhawks on the power play. And pass to Jonathan Tays, he scores a goal. Black Sox leads 2-1. And the Blackhawks here again, going to get another goal, 3-1. And the Blackhawks win 3-2.
MLB spring training officially kicks off tomorrow with the first games of the Grapefruit and the Cactus League set to commence. Highlighting Tuesday's games, we have matches between the Pirates, Tigers, Orioles, Braves, Blue Jays, Phillies, and the Reds and Indians in Arizona. And on Wednesday, the Cactus League kicks off with the next round of games as San Francisco takes on the Giants, Arizona takes on Colorado, and defending champ KC takes on the Rangers. Major League Baseball announced Friday that it is changing its rules on sliding into bases on double play attempts. The new rule redefines what constitutes a slide on double play opportunities. Major League Baseball also implemented 2 new pace of game rules to help speed the game up. The rule change comes after increasingly growing calls to rid the game of hard slides at second base after several players sustained major injuries as a result. Most notably in last season's Game 2 of the NLCS, when Chase Utley broke up a potential double play ball and injured Mets shortstop Ruben Tejada.
Jurors could soon hear testimony from sportscaster Erin Andrews, as well as the man who stalked her and posted nude photos of her on the internet. Andrews and her mother could testify as early as Monday in the $75 million civil case. Michael David Barrett was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison after admitting to stalking Andrews in 3 different cities, altering peepholes in hotel rooms, and secretly recording nude videos. Jurors are expected to hear Barrett give details about the stalking. His testimony will be via video. The sportscaster has sued Barrett and the franchise owner and operator of a Nashville hotel. The companies say the stalker should be held responsible.
Now let's catch up with Stephen Huff and Matt Pierce, who went out on the streets today for this week's segment of Sports on the Cob.
Thanks, fellas. I'm Stephen Huff here on Sports on the Cob. With the Oscars last night, we decided to go around campus asking students their favorite sports films. We got some good answers. Let's see what we got.
Growing up, my favorite sports film would definitely be Remember the Titans.
Growing up, I'd say probably Space Jam. I'm a big Michael Jordan fan, and he's awesome. And I'm a big fan of Bugs Bunny.
Probably Miracle.
Miracle, do you have a favorite scene or line from that movie?
Just the speech that Herb Brooks gives. It's pretty gnarly.
I think my favorite sports film was probably Radio, because mostly, like the coach in that movie, he wasn't just like coaching the team that he had. He almost like coached radio, and he really coached them about life, not just like the sport itself. So I think that movie really impacted me as a person.
All right, well, we definitely got some good answers, definitely some classic movies, and some of my favorites as well. For Sports on the Cob, I'm Stephen Huff. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Stephen. We'll be right back after this break.
Donations from our supporters through Campaign for Nebraska enrich the classroom experience, advance research, fuel innovation and economic development, and enhance the campus environment. Campaign for Nebraska and the University of Nebraska-Lincoln thank our donors for gifts that write a story of success for the future.
Well, the speech and debate team is 143 years old. We're the oldest student activity on campus, and we're one of the best.
We work really hard.
And we're the best Big Ten team in the nation.
We've won the Big Ten Tournament Championship 3 years in a row.
And for the past 8 years, we have placed in the top 10 nationally.
We have the best students, the hardest working, the most dedicated. We have the best students here at Nebraska.
Welcome back to Andersen Sports Live. We are sending it up to our roundtable experts.
Welcome back to the Roundtable. I'm Karina Hernandez alongside Pierce Gurlett and Matt Reynoldson. This year we've seen more top 25 teams lose than ever before. This season has been wildly unpredictable. So with a couple of weeks to go till Selection Sunday, who's the team that can fly under the radar and make the Final Four?
You know, I think a team that's flying under the radar is the Dayton Flyers. They are 24th in RPI, only 6 losses on the season, and they're led by veteran juniors and seniors. These juniors and seniors went to the Elite Eight 2 years ago when they lost to Florida, but that veteran experience is key for this team. 4 of their 6 losses have been at home, and you don't play the NCAA tournament at home. Archie Miller, the great coach, he's led this team to a winning record since he's been there. You know, he's really turned this program around, and this year they have wins over Iowa, Monmouth, Vanderbilt, some other good teams, and the best name in the game, Scoochie Smith, is shooting 43% on the year.
I have to agree with you about the Scoochie Smith comment. That's a great name, but I do like Dayton. But my sleeper pick, which isn't really a truly sleeper pick, Wichita State. I think Wichita State with the guards of Fred Van Vliet and Ron Baker and the head coach of Greg Marshall, they're going to be tough to beat in the tournament. And I think that last year we were all talking about how great Greg Marshall was and how he should be taking this job or that job. Well, here he is flying under the radar, like you asked. And I think that they're going to go straight to the Final Four. I picked him in the beginning. I'm going to stick with him. I think the guards will help him and Greg Marshall.
That's a great pick. You know, Wichita State's a dark horse every single year, and they're a fun team to watch.
Yeah, you guys made great points. I'm switching gears now. We'll go back to the NBA. Earlier this afternoon, reports surfaced that Kyrie Irving is unhappy in Cleveland. So they've already fired a head coach this year. And with this news, you have to wonder at this point how this affects the team's dynamic.
Well, the thing is that the team has always been kind of a ruckus locker room, as it should, lack there of a better word. Kevin Love was cut out of a couple of shots, out of a couple of picture shots, not basketball shots, but picture shots, and he got hurt about it. He even photoshopped himself into one picture. So they have always been one for not having the calmest locker room. But it won't take effect into them. I think they're going to still win the East because they're in a weak East conference. I think the only team that can even keep up with them are the Raptors or the Pistons. So no worries out of Cleveland yet. Wait till the NBA Finals.
You know, you haven't ever been in a friend group until you photoshopped yourself into one of your friends' pictures. But no, I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are maybe having some real problems here. You first hear about Kevin Love not being happy, but they kind of debunked that. And now Kyrie's not happy. But Kyrie and Kevin Love haven't really been playing like the superstars they're made out to be. They have played 100 minutes together without LeBron on the floor this season. And of those 100 minutes, the Cavaliers are minus 14.9 in net efficiency. That is not good. That would be last in the NBA with those stats. And I think the dynamic of the locker room really needs to improve for this team to make a run at not only the finals, but the East Conference as well.
Okay, so from a possible uncertain future for Irving to the bright futures of the incoming NFL quarterbacks, Signal College took center stage at the NFL Scouting Combine this week. Guys, which quarterbacks stood out to you over the weekend?
You know, I think Carson Wentz has the brightest future of all the quarterbacks here. He played at North Dakota State, FCS school, very under the radar, not playing against the best competition. But last year, he threw for 1,651 yards and rushed for 294 yards in just 7 games on the field coming back from injury. You know, he's 6'5", 233 pounds, similar to the frame of Andrew Luck, who's 6'4", 240. And, you know, I think he could really make an impact on this draft. He's got the arm strength. He's got the build. You know, he could be a great quarterback in the NFL.
I do like that pick, and there are some other picks like Vernon Adams and Jared Goff that are great. But the number one guy, Connor Cook. I think the reason why is because he's played in the big games. He knows what it's like. He's shown multiple times that he can play in those big games, like winning the Big Ten championship. I mean, he's shown it a lot. So I'm going to have to pick Connor Cook as my biggest quarterback.
He's the winningest quarterback in Michigan State history, so that's a great pick.
Yeah, but then the thing is though, he's not done with the ball. He does not turn the ball over a lot. He does have a couple mistakes, and he does need to work on the accuracy. But I think at the end of the day, when you look at Connor Cook and you compare him to other players like Jared Goff or like Vernon Adams really did not stand out until he got late in the season with Oregon. Jared Goff had like 2 or 3 decent weeks with California, and then that's when he became a star. Carson Wentz hasn't played in a huge game in front of a huge crowd except for at the North Dakota State in that beautiful dome of theirs. I think Connor Cook has done it constantly at Michigan State. He's won a couple Big Ten championships, and he's won a couple of Rose Bowls. I think if I'm looking for a quarterback to build a team around, you got to start it around a guy like that. Connor Cook is my man.
Absolutely, and you think about those Pac-12 quarterbacks, Vernon Adams and Jared Goff, going against these Pac-12 defenses, which have kind of suspect secondaries a lot of the time. And Big Ten secondaries are always top of the line. You know, in practice, he's going against that great Michigan State secondary.
Yeah.
And you know, I think Connor Cook is battle tested. He's been through injuries. He's been through the gauntlet, really, playing against that rough game against Alabama in the college football playoff. But he has been through it all, winningest quarterback in Michigan State history, and I think he would be a great pick for any team, as would any of these guys.
Yeah, let's get Connor Cook for the Lions, huh?
You guys chose great players. The Combine wraps up its 4th and final day today, and we'll have plenty more NFL coverage leading up to the draft on April 28th. Guys, back down to you.
Thanks, guys. The men's indoor track and field team clinched their 2nd straight Big Ten Conference championship this past Saturday at the Spire Institute. The team won by 43 points to 2nd place Wisconsin. The win gave coach Gary Pepin his 31st indoor conference championship in his 36 years as coach. A frustrating season didn't get any better for Nebraska men's basketball team this weekend as the Huskers lost to Penn State on Thursday 56-55 after erasing an 18-point second half deficit. Siobhan Shields scored 25 points in his first game back after missing 4 straight games with a concussion. The Nebraska women ended a 3-game skid over the weekend, beating Northwestern 76-67 on Senior Day. 4 Huskers scored in double digits, including a team-high 16 points from Maddie Simon and a triple-double from Natalie Romeo. The Huskers finished the regular season with an 18-11 record and a 15-3 mark at the Pinnacle Bank Arena. Their next game will be against Rutgers in the first round of the Big Ten tournament on Thursday. The Husker baseball team hit the road this weekend for the Tony Gwynn Classic in San Diego and ended with an 11-5 win over number 20th ranked Tulane on Sunday. The Huskers finished with a 1-2 record after dropping their first two games to San Diego and number 23 Arizona.
Now, as a sports Ryan made what?
Ryan Major is from nearby Papillion, Nebraska. He's been dancing for 11 years and will graduate in May with a degree in supply chain management. Although he's been dancing for over a decade, his career didn't start the traditional way.
My mom paid for the lessons, and then she actually paid me for just to go and try to dance. So weirdly, my mom paid me to learn to dance, and then I got there and I was awful. But the struggle of learning was really fun, and I was doing things I never thought were possible before, which really brought me just close to it. And so I took it as a hobby.
For Ryan's first performance, he was nervous, to say the least. He covered up with a mask and a hat to keep himself concealed, but he found his rhythm as the curtains rose.
Oh no, oh, he's gonna embarrass himself. What is he doing? And so I went out there. I wore this like weird hat that my dad had that I've never worn before. I wore a white Jabberwocky mask. I like totally wanted to hide myself, and I stood out there. The curtains opened, and then the crowd just was screaming, and like, oh my gosh, that rush of energy, that feeling I've never felt in any other situation. And I was like, all right, let's do this.
It has been a long time since Ryan's first performance. As he is set to graduate this May, he has much bigger goals for his future.
I want to take my dancing further. I'm planning on trying to start a career for myself. I'll be in May moving out to New York City, and I've already lived out there for a bit, and I have connections and networks out there that I'll be using even more. But really, that's just the middle part for me right now, and then I'm going to be moving to LA, and that's where I'm going to join a Millennium Academy and like start learning more diverse styles.
Ryan is currently the president of the UNL Breakdance Club, and they meet twice a week on Monday and Wednesday nights from 8 p.m. till 9:30 at the Rec Center, and no skill level is required. This has been David Eichel and Josh Kemp with Ryan Major.
Thanks for watching.
Good evening, I'm Renata Guzman. We've talked about everything from this past week. Now let's see what games we have this upcoming week. Starting with the NBA on Monday, the Indiana Pacers at Cleveland Cavaliers, Oklahoma City Thunder at Sacramento Kings. On Tuesday, the Chicago Bulls at Miami Heat, Orlando Magic at Dallas Mavericks, and Atlanta Hawks at the Golden State Warriors. On Wednesday, the Detroit Pistons at San Antonio Spurs, and Los Angeles Lakers, just at our neighbor state in Colorado, playing against the Denver Nuggets. On Thursday, the game we've all been waiting for since Saturday, the Oklahoma City Thunder at the Golden State Warriors. We can't wait to see what Steph Curry brings this time. Then we'll go to NCAA men's basketball. On Monday, Syracuse at North Carolina, Oklahoma State at Iowa State, and number 1 Kansas at number 23 Texas. On Tuesday, DePaul at Villanova, number 19 Baylor at number 6 Oklahoma. And then on Wednesday, West Virginia at Texas Tech, Miami at Notre Dame, Michigan State at Rutgers, and Oregon at UCLA. Then we go to the Big Ten women's basketball tournament, which is also beginning this week. On Wednesday, we have Wisconsin versus Northwestern, and then Illinois versus Penn State. The winner of that game will go on to play number 6 Purdue. On Thursday, we have Iowa versus Michigan, and the winner of that game will go on to play number 1 Maryland, and number 10 Rutgers versus number 7 Nebraska. This weekend is also the World Golf Championship in Miami, Florida, with the leaderboard number 1, Dustin Johnson, number 2, J.B. Holmes, number 3, Bubba Watson, and tied for 4th is Adam Scott and Henrik Stenson. There's a lot to look forward to in the next few weeks, such as the Big Ten men's basketball tournament and spring football. That's all we have for this week, though. For Andersen Sports Live, I'm Renata Guzman. Back to you guys.
Thanks for watching us today. We'll be back next week. I'm Vincent Pena.
And I'm Evan Troxel. We'll be back next. From all of us